What's up, family? Welcome back to your girl's channel. It's your girl Midnight Hope here to give you guys a conversation that I'm being guided to share with you. Okay, um, so I just want to talk about a time where I've manifested in my life, and I feel like this knowledge or this information will definitely be beneficial to others, especially if you could resonate or you're just struggling manifesting things in your life. I just want to help individuals, not just and that's how I would love to use the divination, is to help us to manifest the life we deserve, or that the life that you see for yourself, and literally what you deserve. So I'm going to tell you a story about how I manifested my dog. And it literally all started with a thought. So I actually manifested my home too, but I'll tell you that another time. Okay. So I've had my dog now about 2 months. And when I first started working at the job that I'm working at now, I knew I wanted a dog. I just knew I wanted one. I knew I wanted a puppy. I kept saying I wanted a puppy. And I was like, I want a puppy. It really just started with a thought. I just want a puppy. And because I'm very intuitive as well, I pick up on signs and synchronicities, symbolism, because of how powerful my thoughts are as well. And if this has happened to you and you can relate, then we all need to understand how powerful our thoughts are, even the negative ones. Okay? Anyway, let's get to the story. So basically, I started thinking, I'm like, I want a puppy. And so one day I went into Marshall's. I went to like a shopping area to go and get me a notebook for my new job to take notes in, which I do believe, which one of my powerful manifestations is also writing. Some of y'all can probably relate, especially if you are related to, I believe the name of the Egyptian goddess was talks about, I think this thought. I don't even know how you say it, but I think that's the god of writing as well and communication. That I had to mention that for whatever reason, because intuitively I'm being guided to say certain things. So let's just get to it. So basically, you guys, I went to the store, and I went into the aisle, and I didn't even know, like, I just knew I was getting a notebook so I can take notes at this new job. And I'm like, okay, cool. So I went into the aisle, and I see like something that catches my eye. Like the things that I realize that are really like stand out to me lets me know that there's a like there's symbolism and stuff, like things that really stand out. Like, I pay attention to the smallest things, but the things that really stand out at the most is a sign for me, right? So I see a book, I see a notebook that says life is better with a dog. And I'm like, isn't that, I just connect with things, whether it's even signs, right? With anybody's creative work. This is why it's so important for us to create as well. And create books or just put your art out there, because this is what it does for people. Anyway, so thank God for the person who made that notebook and decided to put life is better with a dog, which is a fact, right? And I looked at the book and I said, right, life is better with a dog. And when I looked at the book, as I turned and looked down the aisle, there was a brown dog that was actually um, walking by. And I'm like, I don't believe in coincidences. So I knew that was a clear sign. So I said to myself, wow, I'm going to get that book. I'm gonna get this notebook. So I pick up the notebook, I walk to the front, I go purchase my notebook and maybe some other items. And as I'm standing in line, the guy with the dog, which I'm looking at the dog, but I don't say anything, he gets in line like a couple of spaces behind me. He's talking to a lady as well, but I'm ear hustling, I'm listening. And I'm listening to what he's saying. He's like, yeah, I actually got the dog for free. And then the thought that came to my mind was, it'll be real nice to get a dog for free. Period. Okay. Okay, so I think I'm moving too fast in the story, because prior to going to the store and seeing this dog, I had already inquired about a dog at an animal shelter. I already knew I wanted a dog. I said, let me go to the animal shelter. I went there by myself. And when I got there, it was my first time really inquiring about a dog. But when I got there, I sat in the room And when I sat in the room, I didn't know how it works because my first time ever even doing this. That, they bring dogs in with you so you can, figure out what dog you want. So there was one dog, the first dog that came in, I, not fell in love, but I loved that dog. I was like, oh, I love this, and boo, boo, boo. Now, what stopped me, not really technically stopped me, because I was planning on doing it because I was just finding the ways to figure out how to get the dog, was I said, so how much is the adoption fee? They wanted over $500. I mean, come on now. Things are expensive nowadays. But at the same time, not that the $500 was the problem because I had it. It's just I was being practical about how I spent my money. So I was just like, okay, I'll be back. And plus I was like, when if I do come back and get the dog, I just don't want to impulsively buy a dog, but I also want my kids to be a part of the process. That is what first happened. So I seen a dog. I took a video of her. I was like, oh, she's so cute. Boo, boo, boo. And I knew I wanted to go back and grab a dog. And I did my inquiries about the dog. About getting a dog, which was just the information about adoption and how things work and this and this and that and the third. So then as time goes on, like I said, I went to the store. I seen that situation. The guy says in the line, and now we fast forward back to the beginning, you guys, he said, I got the dog for free. In the thought process, I remember having a thought. I said, it would be nice to get a dog for free. Wouldn't that be nice? I said the exact words in my head. Remember, I'm just listening. And he's like, yeah, boo, boo. He's just talking. And I went about my business. I went and purchased my notebook, and I left. And I remember the very next day when I opened my notebook. In my notebook, I wrote, I love my new dog. I love my new dog. And I thought that was pretty cool. I just wrote down, I love my new dog. And then, so basically, as time went on, I released the expectations behind it. I mean, I always still knew that I wanted a dog. I still knew I wanted a dog. I just wasn't hyper focused on it anymore. I just knew whenever I was ready, I was going to go get the dog. Whatever. So finally one day, I had changed up my routine. I'm gonna tell you exactly what happened. I kind of changed up my routine this day, where I worked out that morning. Cause not all the time. I'm not saying I'm not active constantly, where I'm working out, which I found to be another powerful way of how to manifest is working out. Is how you can bring in manifestations even quicker, right? Because the endorphins in the body, it just picks up this good energy, so high vibration, right? So anyway, I went worked out. I came home. I told myself today. The thought came to me, it was today I'm going to the animal shelter with my kids, and even if we don't buy a dog, I'm going to at least sit down with them and let them experience what I experienced, where they can, play with dogs. And just get the feel of it and see how they act with a puppy, because it'd be my first time really seeing them interact with dogs as well, especially my 3-year-old. So anyway, time goes on. When I got back home from the gym, I looked up. I told him, I said, get ready, y'all, let's go out early. We're gonna go to the park, and then we're gonna go to the animal shelter, then we're gonna go out to the park. And I had looked up the animal shelter in my area, and that animal shelter was opening up late. It was a Saturday, so they was opening up maybe I think maybe 12 or 1 o'clock or something like that. And I was like, oh, that's too late. So we was going to go to another one. So I said, let's just go to the park first then. And then after we come from the park, we'll go to that. And I don't know. I have a thing about being the first person at the store. I don't like it personally. And me working in retail, I personally don't like being the first person. I used to watch people sitting outside the store. I'd be like this, why are they here right now? I mean, unless it's an emergency, but it wasn't no emergency. So I said, I'll just wait. So anyway, it was another animal shelter that was opening up a lot earlier, around 11:30. But I was like, okay, well, we was already outside. I took my kids to the park. We had a good time, being in the high vibration, being in the present moment as well. Push come to shove, I'm ready to go. Let's go, you guys. Let's get ready to go to the shelter. Get ready to go to the shelter. We pull up. We're walking into the shelter. As we're walking into the shelter, there's a lady walking out the shelter with a puppy. And my kids is like, oh, she's so cute. And oh my God. They're falling all over the dog. The dog is maybe like 8 weeks. And she's like talking to us and she says, yeah. I was like, oh, you just purchased the dog? She's like, no, I'm surrendering her. What? So I'm like, you're surrendering her? She's like, yeah. She was like, I rescue dogs from Puerto Rico. Hmm? She's like, yeah, she's a street dog. And I'm listening. I've never heard this before. Like I said, I'm never really, I'm just listening. So she's like, yeah, this and this. And my kids are playing with it. They're like laying on the floor. They're doing all these things. She's 8 weeks. They're playing with her. I'm like, wow. So my son goes and say, well, like, so my son hears the lady talk about, she's wanting to surrender her, but at the same time, she wants to not get rid of her, but she was waiting for them to surrender her because she couldn't surrender her at that current moment because there was something going on in the shelter. There was some sort of something going on in the shelter. I don't know what was going on. There's something about animals. Please, I couldn't even tell y'all what it was. Okay. And I was like, so the lady also was saying that, she's been trying to get to the hospital for the last few days, that she has some sort of lung cancer maybe or something like that, and she can't bring the dog with her. She says as much as she's rescued dogs, she's not a owner of a dog, boo boo. I'm like, okay. Push come to shove, my son comes out and just says, we'll take her. I'm like, what? And I'm still like thinking, like, I'm being intuitively guided to say, ma'am, I'll help you with the dog if you want me to. But she mentions it. She's like, I don't want to really give the dog to anybody with small kids because, she's going through this phase where she's like biting, which was teething, or, she was really street where she would go, always like, turn into a little Tasmanian devil. But because I have 2 cats, actually. And anybody who comes to my house and they play with my cats, they're like, I call my cats the Aristocats. They don't show their claws. They're just really good cats. They're very calm and cool and collected. They're just good cats. Like, you could pick them up. They're very loving. You can just tell they're in a very loving environment as well, or whatever. And I had this strong belief. I'm like, oh, well, if she comes with me, like, I can change that, in the sense of knowing that the environment that I provide for animals, right? Not saying I'm some dog whisperer or cat whisperer or whatever, but I had this strong intuitive, like, okay, well, maybe I can give her a hand. I said, well, if you want me to, I'm just throwing this out there. I could take her for you for a little while you go to the hospital or whatever. And she's like, okay. She said, if you want, you could keep her for a week and then just let me know how you feel. But in this moment, in my mind, I'm like, am I about to get a free dog? That the lady from the shelter comes out and she goes, are you taking her? Are you going to take the dog? And I'm like, I guess so. And she goes, yeah, okay. She comes right back out and gives me a bag full of free stuff, the bowl, the bed, the dog food, the treats. Tells me if I ever need any type of supplies for the dog to come back and get him. She'll give me a bag of full of free stuff. I'm looking around like, I got a free dog? And yeah, the lady took pictures with me and my kids with the dog. We all took pictures, and she sent me the pictures of the dog when she was in Puerto Rico, her vaccine shots, her mom, how big possibly she can get. And within 20 minutes of me going to the shelter at that time, I was walking away with a free dog. So I did, which now, like, my dog is like going into her 5th month. She's still a puppy. And, she has, the dog is beautiful. Like, when I say, and so then I never really thought about those moments, like leading up to that moment. I just knew I was getting a free dog, but I did not remember the time that I said in my mind, oh, I want a free, like, that would be nice for a free dog. I didn't remember that then. I didn't even remember the kind of dog that I seen when I went to the shelter the first time. So weeks passed, and I start telling I knew I had manifested her because I was already saying that I wanted a dog. But then when I started to tell a friend of mine the story, I didn't realize in detail how much of the thought process went behind it, because I remember now being in the store and saying in my head, it would be that would be nice to get a free dog. So my point with the story of what I'm saying is obviously is to tell y'all the evidence of me getting a free dog and how I manifested it. And I could tell you about the timeline of manifestation was probably maybe 3 to 4 months, because of the alignment, which it's like this is when I think they consider it to be, not they consider, but when we talk about like inspired action. So like all of a sudden I was getting intuitive feelings of being guided to go to um, the animal shelter that day. Um, Taking action where it aligned for possibly for me to actually being at the right place at the right time. So, um, wow. Anyways, with that being said, um, yeah, I got a dog, and I didn't realize that, like I said, until I was having that conversation with a friend of mine, like how I got the dog or where I was at, particularly, like I mean, even seeing the other dog. At one point, that I was going through my phone, this phone in particular, and I looked at the video of the dog that I seen back when I went to the shelter the first time, and I swear to you not, like I'm hoping I can do this because I don't know how to do it, but I'm gonna try. That dog that I seen at the shelter, you know, was the same, looked exactly like the dog that I got right now. Except the back was black, and then the black, the my dog is like a clear coat, like a nice brown coat. The other dog had a dark patch of like a darker brown, a black streak on the back of the back of the dog, which I'm hoping to put this in the video. So I'm hoping really, because I really want to show you guys the dog from the shelter to the dog that I have today. And so I just really want to remind you guys the power of your thoughts. Really focus on your positivity. I don't care. This is when they say you have to be delusional to be able to manifest. It's almost what they call it, be delulu. All right. Wake up in the morning, collective. Really affirm the life that you see for yourself. And until that shit becomes a reality, don't believe nothing else. All right. If you're abundant, you are rich, you are um, marvelous. If you're, what I'm saying, you live in this astonished life, or whatever the words that I'm looking for to make it like, this grand, this grand life that you see for yourself, affirm that shit until it's the truth. Don't let nobody tell you what your 3D should look like. You're in control of the 3D every day. And I believe I've received these certain manifestations because I've learned the art of detachment, where I wasn't really worried about the income, not the income, but the outcome, excuse me. But I did take inspired, aligned action. So a lot of us, even for the people who say things like, oh, I want to win the lottery, but you don't take inspired action, like in the sense of you don't even play. You don't even go and play the lottery, but you want, like, it's not that you could possibly get somebody who can give you a lottery ticket and it happens. Let's talk about that, right? That is possible. You could win. But I'm saying, take action as well, not like, impulsive action, but inspired action. You will feel it in your gut, like when something just looks like it's supposed, and follow through with it, So that's what I wanted to tell you guys. I wanted to share that story with everyone, and I hope I hope this inspires you all. I wake up every morning, I do affirmations. I'm really thinking about bringing it to the channel where I wake up and just start alive, and we'll do affirmations every morning. And you guys can join me, which will just be excellent to just reprogram your subconscious, and not just keep me accountable, but keep you guys accountable as well. I love to do this, so it brings me nothing but joy. And then right after I do affirmations, I'm really into working out. Like I usually run on my walking pad, or whatever the case may be. Make me a glass of tea, so keep my vibration high, and also keeps me in the present moment. And not that I'm saying like I'm perfect. I'm still working on dwelling on things that don't work, right? So I'm still a work in progress, but I thought I'd just share with you guys at least one of my manifestation stories. And maybe another time soon, I'll let you guys know how I manifested my house as well. All right, you guys, I see you guys in the next one. Peace.